We got Ernie and Victoria on the line. What's your question for David?
My question is on Hut Bay Minerals, please. And could I also get the street consensus, please?
Sure thing.
Thanks very much.
Great. Ernie, I always find it interesting what people phone about. And it always tells you a little bit something about what's been going on in the market. First of all, we've had very few calls on Canadian stocks to begin with because the Canadian market probably been underperforming for some time. And very few calls, no calls on energy so far today. This is one of the first calls on materials. When it comes to materials right now, actually this is one of the groups that we think is looking more attractive. You know, global growth is picking up, not just in the U.S. It started in the U.S., but now spreading to other parts of the world. China's doing a little bit better. Our work on the Chinese market looks more interesting than it's looked in a while. And so some of the metals producers are starting to perform well. Before that happened, the forestry stocks started to act well. And before that happened, some of the things like lithium started doing well. But the base metals have started to perform well. So Hut Bay, of course, copper, gold, silver, zinc, a combination of all of these things. Stock has based over the last year and a half and on a relative basis has been improving relative to the market since June. We own Lundin as our biggest, very targeted position in metals. We also own one that we're going to talk about today and a couple of others. But Hut Bay is performing well, and I would have no problem owning the stock. The group is probably underowned. Remember, they're cyclical, right? It's more of a trade than a long-term investment. But if we believe the economies around the world are going to continue to get a little better, there's probably a run coming in these stocks.
Ernie, as far as the street's concerned, 12 buys, 5 of them strong, 4 holds and 0 sells, with a price target of $11.50. That's up 14% if it got there from where we're trading today. We got Wade in Kelowna, BC on the line. What's your question?
The Pembina pipeline, they've got growth and debt lower than some of the other companies you like. Why are they treated like a bond proxy? Thank you.
Wade, it's a great question. Look, you know, being targeted has some advantages. It means you don't have to own every group, and you know, if a sector goes out of favor enough, as they say, it comes back and gets everybody, get the piano player. so Pembina and Keyera are the piano players. Energy went out of favor in January and February as prices weakened. And so the producers and the service companies really got a pretty good shellacking. And it has become more apparent over the last while that while Saudi is trying to keep the price of oil relatively higher so they can get their Aramco deal done, the volumes are growing, and it's possible we're going to see more weakness in the group. So I think over the last couple of weeks, you saw Pembina kind of break down. You saw Keyera start to get hit. You know, other names in the infrastructure space, even though they're just volume driven, have seen some weakness. On a long-term chart, and I use point and figure charts, Pembina still looks okay. For us, because we don't have to be everywhere, we've taken our marbles and moved a bunch of them into other sectors that are behaving better. But this is a yield generator, and it's going to pay, you know, a good yield. If you think that prices can hold in at these levels, it's a easy way to participate in energy and the secular growth in production. But in the near term, I think the sector is just quite out of favor, and you know, there may be other things to do in the near term.
All right, only got about 30 seconds. Ben was going to ask a question. I'll ask it for him in video. What's your 30-second take on the name?
Dead in the heart of the semiconductor space. If you talk about momentum, this has momentum, but they've got an enormous addressable market. We own the stock. I recognize that there's risk. If they were to miss their earnings, it would get hurt. But I think that autonomous driving and augmented reality are going to be a reality going forwards, and we want to participate in that.
Okay, I want to make sure you got your NVIDIA answer there. We're going to be back after this short break. Top picks are coming up next.